You care about. I'm Kevin Pereira. Olivia's out today because of her pregnancy.
Right.
But don't worry, that'll be fixed by tomorrow. Joining us, though, is the fancy Blair Butler.
It's great to be here. And,
Great to have you.
in case you didn't know, it's Wednesday, February 27th, and we are coming to you live from the G4 studios in Los Angeles. Hi, Mom.
On today's show, a monkey goes nuts and shoots people with a gun. Thank you. And around the net, you'll see the video where the whole incident goes down in a local commercial. Plus, in the loop, with the launch of Yahoo's social news site Buzz, we'll find out who really controls online news.
Yeah. Also in Gadgetron, we preview a watch phone that's being billed as a James Bond type of electronic. We'll tell you if it lives up to the MacGyver hype. And then I take you to WonderCon and fill you in on everything that went down, including a look at the new comic Lock and Key, which has just been optioned into a movie trilogy by Dimension a couple days after it came out. Pretty cool.
They're making a prequel to the comic that I just optioned.
Yeah.
That I haven't even written yet. So
Nice.
it's like these things get faster and
Comics,
faster
man.
in the industry. Time to run down the top 5 web items of the day.
Yes, believe it. We are going where?
Around the net.
Oh. Funny. Coming in at number 5 is perhaps the stupidest stunt ever attempted. Actually, seriously, this is really stupid.
Does this involve the bear in a jar of honey again?
No. This one is much more intense.
Okay.
Because we all understand that extreme videos have an element of danger.
Of course.
But rarely do they have such a high element of complete stupidity. I can't even say it.
Yeah, no,
it blew my mind, seriously, because suicide is really sad. But in this case, it actually would have been an appropriate ending to the stunt.
I know what video you're talking about, and I disagree wholeheartedly.
I cannot believe this.
Not only is this stunt awesome, I have posters of this guy all over my bedroom, Teen Beat style. He's my new role model. Of manliness by jumping out of a plane without a chute is immediately lost when another dude has to straddle your back and get the underhooks in.
I have to say, though, despite the applause, that would have been a lot less awesome if he had, I don't know, plummeted to his death.
Now, see, once again, I disagree with you, Blair. I think that would have made the video like a 5-star YouTube rating instead of a 3. Just saying. And it makes a sweet viral for Red Bull.
Coming in at number 4, we're looking at the public access show Let's Paint, starring performer extraordinaire John Kilduff.
I love this guy. Look, on the surface, this is a painting show, right? Except the host also exercises while he paints, plus he plays ping pong, takes calls, and this time he's interacting with the Invisible Man.
What?
Hopefully I encourage you to do something exciting in your life. That thing that you never thought of doing, do it today.
It is Black History Month, and
all right, we got your setup. That's it. I could tell that. We smelled that a mile away, my friend. I know it's difficult, but if you're going to say bad things about other people, try to do it behind their backs. Just a quick recap of the painting. I don't know if we got a good shot of the painting. Oh, there we got it. There's the ping pong table. There's the Invisible Man. Now, you might say, well, he doesn't look too invisible to me. And you're right. We're not Monet. We're not focusing on, some sort of illustrative thing. Get on that treadmill and give it a shot.
No idea what he said, but awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's like a fun show, but you know what? Today we have Miss Invisible joining us live in our studio. Let's check in with Miss Invisible right now.
Hate to one up you, buddy, but Miss Invisible, thank you for joining us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know what?
She had like the Hawaiian hula motion going.
Yeah, a little hula chair action, and I gotta tell you, it's sort of sexy. Well done, Mr. Invisible.
A little boxy in the nether region.
I don't know, let's see what's going on. I don't think she's a tucker, but look at, she's a fun girl having fun.
She's gotta be,
Yeah!
I don't think we're allowed to show this kind of this stuff, even if she is invisible.
We can absolutely show. We need to
made
show
the PA
more is what we
happy.
need to show. You know what I'm saying? Miss Invisible. The panties are dropping. This is getting good.
I'm like an Amish woman now. I'm like,
No, I'm certainly not. Though. I'm revved up. I want to see more of those dirty invisible parts, though. You know what I'm saying? I wish we didn't have to stop there.
Oh no, the flesh. Oh. Oh my.
Enough.
That's fair. That's
I guess, you know, the whole invisibility thing makes it hard to do the Adam's apple or man hands check.
yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry for those who just reached for the box of Kleenex, too. That is not good. That was some tissue footage, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, Lord. That
Even
was
folded.
a fuzzy lady. She was a bear. Invisible woman is a bear.
I'm okay with that.
She's a bear. Grr.
All right, internet number 3 today is security cam footage from a tow truck.
Yeah, and while we know that doesn't sound exciting,
No.
trust us, what you are about to see will definitely shock you, and it may make you want to call your insurance company.
Oh. I mean, kudos to the video for making it to the front page of Break, but I don't think the $400 is going to cover all that. I have a feeling.
You know when they went to pick that car up, they were like, oh yeah, there's a little pre-existing damage.
Yeah.
It's like pre-existing, the front of my car is gone.
They're like, it wasn't an accident, I was just double parked, but wall in the way.
Oh
Sorry.
man. Well, now we're here to attack of the show. We are patriotic,
Yes.
government-fearing Americans. We know we do everything right, and we do everything best. Except banking websites.
Listen,
we have a lot to learn
Yeah,
about
when
that.
I go online, I have to put in 3 pages of personal info and click and verify 12 stupid images.
Who's your favorite childhood
Yeah,
hero?
before I can see how broke I am.
Batman,
You know,
of course.
but bankers in Australia, they built a site that actually welcomes you with kittens.
What?
Singing kittens. Yeah, it's today's number 2.
Now you may wonder why we're here, or what we have to say. We heard you're feeling blue, and we've made a song for you. That's a strange name for a boy, so can we call you Leroy?
Now wait.
Why doesn't my bank do that? That's awesome.
Okay, now boom mic and kittens, yeah, that's great. That's fun.
Right.
But the best part of the site is that the kittens will actually sing your name if you type it in, and it actually
They will.
changes the melody of the song depending upon how many letters are in the name.
Exactly, and because we are 11 years old, the first thing we did is try to get the cats to sing swear words.
It worked.
Get the swears
We
in.
heard you're feeling blue, and we've made a song for you. Don't panic, at least you don't have to be in a plastic box.
Whoa, that last kitten, the kittens were crossing the line very, very nearly at the end.
Charles Kunkbag needs to check his balance. Let the man make a transfer.
I did like a fatty wiener asshat. Anyway, if it was run by murderous ex-convicts driven insane by sunstroke and Foster's poisoning, hey, I'd move to Australia just to use
I
that
agree.
bank.
We
That's a
need
great bank.
more of that out here. That's one of my favorite sites.
Fatty wiener asshat.
Fatty Wiener Asshat. Fatty Wiener Asshat and Kunkbag sounds like a legal firm.
Or a
Like, who's representing you? Oh, Fatty Wiener Asshat and Kunkbag?
Fatty wiener and asshat.
Yeah, they're on top of this one.
They're my representation.
All right, finally, topping off the internet at number 1 today is another leaked sketch from the second season of Human Giant.
I
A
love
leaked
them.
sketch? All right, fine, whatever. It's a sketch from it.
Leaked by the actual
Leaked
marketing
by
team.
the
But
people
anyway,
who are making it.
earlier this week, we showed you a sketch from the Giant about the price of internet fame, and it was a good one, but
I
it
love
was
that
painful
sketch.
about wieners. Anyway, this time they're taking on something we all know and love: local commercials. Love them.
Oh, she's drinking the blood.
That was amazing.
That is incredible.
It's good to know. On a side note, I've actually worked with chimps on both X-Play with a small monkey and a full chimp on On free stuff.
Lloyd, on the old free
and,
stuff.
I gotta be honest, both constantly masturbated on set.
Yeah.
It was really, really
No, they really
disturbing.
do, and you can't stop. I mean, you can yell at them, you can squirt them with spray
in a
bottles.
diaper. They were wearing a diaper.
Yeah.
They were reaching into
It
it. It
doesn't
was
matter.
not right.
And they can take an arm off if you try to actually stop them.
Don't stop the monkey.
It's like me when I'm browsing
monkey.
RedTube. Stay away because you will lose a limb.
I am never touching your keyboard again. Anyway, to get your daily viral
I wouldn't
fix,
touch the desk
make
or the
sure to
plasma
head
wall
over to-
or any of the monitor heads while you're at it. This is all coded.
Go to g4tv.com around the net. There you can also sign up for the Around the Net podcast. Why do I have my hands on the table?
Don't forget to catch Attack tonight at 10 o'clock. The show actually features ATN After Hours, which means it gets worse. Here tonight you'll see a segment with Japanese models getting bucket loads of coins dumped on their chests.
Oh, wow. Something even worse than Fatty Wiener and the masturbating monkeys. Wow.
Entirely unrelated note, right now it's time for the only news you need to know. Here's Layla Cayley and the feed headlines.
Thanks, guys. Here's what's coming up in the feed. First, your Facebook profile is about to get a major facelift as the social networking site makes some style changes. Plus, some areas of the United States are looking into having a mandated G-rated internet. And even though the cast of heroes will be back on the set sooner than originally planned, one character may not return. It's all coming your way in just a few minutes, but first, back to you guys.
So Yahoo rolled out a dig-like extension to their website called Yahoo Buzz, and then I hit Kevin.
That's all right.
Where stories that are deemed the most buzzworthy have a good shot at ending up on Yahoo's homepage.
Yeah, the idea, of course, not exactly new, as plenty of sites have been doing this thing for a long time. But the problem is that these types of sites continue to come under fire for actually appearing democratic on the surface.
Right.
But in reality, there's actually just a handful of people that are in control of the content, working behind the scenes, pulling the levers and making steam come out of the gears or whatever they do.
You get super users. So what's really going on? Well, we want to know what you think. Are social media sites truly the voice of the people? Vote at our website, g4tv.com/AOTS, or text your vote to G4TXT. That's 44898 to vote and register for AOTS Live News Alerts.
Yes, now later on in the show, we're going to hear how Blair's trip to WonderCon turned out.
Pretty good.
But earlier, actually, I had some thoughts of my own on the big convention. That's too much. Listen up, guys. Everyone loves WonderCon. I mean, there's nothing like celebrating comic books with like-minded friends in a safe environment. But there's also a dark side. And that's why it's time for some straight talk about spandex and your super junk. Take my friend here. Listen, sir, you spent time and money on a very adequate Space Ghost costume, but you skimped on the most important accessory, superhero support. And what about you, Green Lantern? Look, you can enhance your package of power with all kinds of airbrushing, but some things, well, they just don't translate into 3 dimensions. And to be fair, it's not just us guys that need help, no. Even women struggle with a side effect commonly known as Cobra Camel Toe. So parents, please, talk to your kids about the dangers of mixing spandex and super junk. Remember, it's great to dress up, but it's better when you wear a cup. I'm Kevin Pereira, and you just got learned. Very important.
Yeah, it is a serious issue. Now, still ahead, I'm taking you inside WonderCon, and we'll review a wordless graphic novel called The Arrival. And Kevin, no spandex junk will be shown. Hopefully,
please. I'm done. I'm done with that. Also, coming up, we're going to show you the best video camera blogs out there, featuring the latest HD cameras, including the Red One, which is actually used by director Peter Jackson.
Nice.
It's an amazing camera. And then in Gadget Prawn, we review a James Bond-like watch phone, complete with touchscreen, internet access, and a Bluetooth headset. Stay with us, folks. Attack of the show. We love it.
Our video games aren't. This weirdo would have you believe they are. Adam vs. Adam starts in 60 seconds. Video games are the great art form of the 21st century. A good game uses great design, music, and writing to create an unforgettable experience. Have you been freebasing your Ritalin again? Video games don't meet any classical definition of the term. Well, yeah, that's because classical definitions were promulgated before technology made this new medium possible. Photography and film are barely 100 years old, and of course, now they are respected fine art media. Art communicate the artist's ideas and emotions. You control a video game that takes the work out of the creator's hands. The audience always completes the art, whether it's a painting or a film or a video game. Composer John Cage once performed 4.5 minutes of silence. The audience listened to itself. That was the artwork. How's the CD? It's all right, but the live show is better. I'm Adam Sessler. And you wonder why I drink?
All I knew was...
Hey, everybody, we're live! Now, actually, the bear is sleeping in today, but he'll be back tomorrow.
He's
assuming
hibernating.
PETA doesn't step in or something.
Ooh, they probably will after the meat incident. Anyway, on today's Blog Watch, we'll help you with all...
Folks, it's a scientific fact that the feed makes you a better, smarter person.
That's true. It has 100% of the things you need to know.
Intended here in Hollywood.
The Feed with Layla Cayley.
Alright guys, let's get to it. Despite being easier on the eyes than most MySpace pages, Facebook is preparing to make the layout of user profiles even cleaner looking than before. The new style will be similar to the iPhone version of the site and will have a multi-tab profile page that splits wall posts, personal information, and photos into separated tab pages. The only group that may be unhappy with these changes are the app developers. The new layout moves the application list from the front page to another tab, which means less visibility for developers. Let's face it, since everyone will still be playing Scrabbulous, those app tabs should get traffic too. If you live in Utah, you may be able to choose how you want your internet provided, filtered or unfiltered. Under provisions in a bill heard by a House committee on Monday, Utah internet service providers could earn a state-approved G rating for filtering content and ensuring that users could not access pornography. The bill would require the Utah Division of Consumer Protection to create a designation for providers who prevent access to prohibited material. If the provider gets a seal of approval from the state and then violates the requirements, they can be fined up to $10,000. That's a lot for porn. Alright guys, Panasonic has some lofty goals about tackling the Earth's unrecoverable plastic problem. The company has developed a method of using titanium oxide to convert plastic and other organic compounds into a harmless gas. Panasonic says their goal is to completely eliminate mixed plastic waste. The new method of gasification requires little energy and as a result helps to reduce CO2 emissions. It's nice to see a giant electronics company step up and start to recycle. Warner Brothers has saved the Justice League, guys. The film was put on hold in January and it looked like it might be zapped into the Phantom Zone. But now the script is being polished and the cast has been told to continue training in anticipation of a 2009 release date. Warner is preparing for this year's big summer movie, The Dark Knight, by releasing an animated DVD called Batman Gotham Knights that fills the gap between the two Christopher Nolan films. The DVD is an anthology written by comic book writers, directed by masters of Japanese anime, and will be in stores on July 8th. Check it out. And finally, Heroes is off the air until the fall, but today there's a cliffhanger that will keep fans guessing about the fate of the lightning-throwing character Elle Bishop. That's because Kristen Bell is not signed on to return to the hit show. Producers are in discussions with her reps to bring her back for an arc in the third season, but nothing is assured. Heroes goes back to production on May 1st of this year, meaning that there could be more than a dozen shows in the can before the first episode airs next September. I cannot wait for that. Alright guys, that's it for today, but don't worry, the feed doesn't stop here. Stay tuned to G4 all day and look for the feed ticker at the bottom of your screen. We'll have all the news you need to know as it happens. I'm Layla Cayley, and you've just been fed.
Thanks, Layla. Now, the finalists have been determined for G4. Welcome back to Attack of the Show. Now, earlier we asked if you think social media sites are truly the voice of the people. And according to the numbers, it looks like a whopping 24% of you think they are. 24%, that's good. Well, just like other good democracies, I think 24% is enough to declare a majority. I'm just saying, crazy.
Oh, superdelegates.
Anyway, let's go over to Kevin and his superdelegates to get this thing sorted out.
Thank you, Blair. All right, Yahoo Buzz has launched, and guess what? It's yet another social news site. But it looks to the people to determine which news is the most engaging and relevant. Sounds great, sure, but are these social media sites actually democratic?
Social media sites offer everything traditional media doesn't, but they still have one thing in common. Information is controlled by an elite few. Sites like Wikipedia and Dig pride themselves on being the people's republic of information, where anyone can contribute, vote on content, and play an active role in creating web democracy at its finest. But in reality, it may only be a very small number of people running the show. Researchers found a mere 1% of Wikipedia users accounted for half the site's edits, while Dig's top 100 contributors averaged 50% of the site's top stories for 2 years running. Are these websites as open as they claim to be? Or is Web 2.0 just a fairy tale democracy? Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. It's the Loop.
My guest tonight in Washington, D.C. from Slate.com, Chris Wilson joins us, and in New York at Forbes.com, David Ewalt is back for more Loop punishment. Welcome, everybody. Chris, last week you wrote a piece for Slate about the myth of Web 2.0 democracy. You said that sites like Dig and Wikipedia, they're actually run by this sort of select group of super users, and you called it the wisdom of the chaperones. And I'm wondering if you could explain just a little bit what you meant by that exactly.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot for having me. You know, a lot of people participate in these sites. The numbers are very staggering, but in fact, as you mentioned in your introduction, there are a very, very small number of people who are really directing the kind of the overall direction of the site, I guess you would say. And, you know, I mean, the word chaperones, I mean, think about, you know, your 7th grade trip to the zoo. I mean, supposedly everybody was participating, but it's really, you know, just a couple of people who are really calling the shots.
Right. Or they also keep you from grabbing below the belt at the junior prom, but they're also responsible for making all the edits then, apparently, right? Like, these chaperones are the ones who are doing the bulk of the work on these websites.
Yeah, the 1% pretty consistently account for 50% of the edits, you know, the number of edits themselves, and the top 5%, you know, of users, you know, contribute about 70 or 80%.
David, do you think these social media sites, are they doing like a disservice at all by giving the impression that their content is actually determined by the masses?
No, not at all. And I think this is the problem with Chris's argument. Is sure, it's a small group of people who are doing a large number of edits. That doesn't mean there's 5 people writing Wikipedia. That means there's a small group of hardcore users who are making tons of edits. What they're doing is going into Wikipedia, they're fixing punctuation, they're changing style, they're making 100 edits in a night because they're replacing a period somewhere. They're not writing 100 entries.
Chris,
you know, David, actually, if I can interject there, one of the most interesting statistics, not to sort of get too number heavy here, is that those who make who have made, you know, total fewer than 100 edits are the only people who, in fact, subtract more words than they add. Now, there's a lot of ways you can interpret this, but certainly a lot of the researchers will tell you that they suspect that, in fact, it's quite possible that it is you know, that other 99% that are doing some of that more custodian work that you talk about. I think that the 1%, in fact, is still contributing a huge, huge amount of the actual content, the thing that we read when we go to the site.
Well, I think that's demonstrably false. I think if you go on the site and you look at the super users, you look at the people who have editor privileges, the people who are high up in the hierarchy, and you look at their history page. This is the great thing about Wikipedia. You can see the edits a person has made. You can go in, you can see the kind of stuff they're doing. The guy who's making 1,000 edits in a night, 100 edits in a night, is not writing content. He's not the one building the Wikipedia. He's the one going in, he's deleting profanity, he's deleting vandalism, he's changing punctuation.
Right, he keeps changing my profile photo back to the one where I had that white trash mustache, and he needs to stop. That was like 5 years ago. But let's move on from Wikipedia, because that's just one of the many sites that are doing the whole social thing. Earlier this week, we saw the launch of Yahoo Buzz, which is another site that supposedly measures votes and search patterns to bring the top stories to the front of the page. In this case, of course, it's the Yahoo homepage. So, David, what, if anything, makes Buzz any different from like a Dig or a Reddit or any of the other countless sites that are doing this?
Well, the thing that makes it different is that Yahoo has 16 gazillion readers, and it's all people who have never, ever approached something like Dig or like Wikipedia or Reddit. I mean, these are moms and grandmas, and these are people who, Yahoo is just their default homepage, and that's how they're going to stumble into Buzz. And that's what's different. This is, now you're really going to expose, you know, the unwashed masses, this huge group of people, to this idea of social news.
And speaking of the general public, yesterday's top 10 searches on Yahoo included High Five, Lindsay Lohan, Britney Spears, and the WWE. So, Chris, when everyone's searching for pop stars and porn, how can Buzz manage to reach like the rest of the internet and keep their homepage interesting? I mean, I'm hooked. You got me at porn, but for everybody else.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kevin, I think you might be contributing quite a bit of that.
Yeah,
but,
I was 50% of all Lowen searches yesterday alone. But I mean, really, like, you know, David's right. I mean, this is opening up the internet to millions and millions of people who have never used these types of sites. But is that necessarily a good thing? Is anything good going to come from this?
Well, it is, you know, I can't say as I understand the real kind of the gears of it, but it does appear to be measuring behavior as opposed to, you know, sort of what people search for as opposed to, say, what they vote on, what they actively, you know, rate as good content. But, you know, I think that, you know, one of the neatest models out there is the Amazon model, where it looks at what you have bought, what you've looked, you know, what you've browsed, and then it recommends things based on what other people like you have done. And what you see is that, you know, there's these networks that people who like history books, you know, are going to buy a lot of history books, and they'll be connected. And
sure, if you rate one thing high and person number 2 rated something high, chances are you have some similar tastes, and so it recommends based off that. I could see getting news that way as being a cool thing, but David, I'll give you the final word here, sir. We're out of time. I just want to know, with all these sites launching, Yahoo Buzz, yet again, the latest of these sites, what can they do to evolve? Like, what is the next site going to have to do to stand out? Give me an idea for my $million.com, please.
Well, I've already filed for the IPO, so first of all, you can't steal this. But I think a lot of what's got to happen is, you know, we've seen a lot of social networks where people are gathering by interest, and then you've sort of got these separate social news sites. You've got Dig and Reddit, and you've got Netscape's efforts. I think you're going to see some combination of those two, where now it's the people who are really into photography. They'll be able to get stories that they're interested in, share them above and of like, and I think that's what Yahoo's going to have to do, is not just sort of throw out every story in the world and let people moderate them.
Right, they've got to launch that High Five, Lindsay Lohan, WWE only social network, and then they'll have the internets knocking on their door. All right, I want to thank my guests, Chris and David, for joining us. Thank you guys so much for keeping us in the loop. Let's send things back to Blair, a unique and delicate flower who rejects the hive mind.
It's true, resistance is not futile, so stay right there. Today's edition of Fresh Ink comes from a wretched hive of scum and villainy, the floor of WonderCon. And then we'll throw ourselves on some future tech like digital tattoos when we attack this.
Attack of the Show, one of iTunes' best podcasts of 2007.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Now Blair's had a post-WonderCon hangover since returning from San Francisco. You getting better?
Yeah, you know, because the only cure is more comics. So I actually found a bunch of cool books at the show, including a wordless graphic novel.
Ooh.
I'm here at WonderCon, San Francisco's biggest comic book convention, for a special edition of Fresh Ink. I've been waiting forever for the best superhero event of 2007 to be collected in one handy volume, and it's finally here. This is Green Lantern, the Sinestro Corps War, Volume 1.
The epic battle between the heroic Green Lanterns and Sinestro's evil Yellow Lanterns was the mainstream superhero highlight of 2007. But with sold-out back issues and plenty of crossovers, a lot of fans missed this one the first time around. Thankfully, this hardcover should let everyone get some hot lantern-on-lantern action and enjoy a monumental smackdown between the forces of good and evil.
Up next, the unsettling first issue of a new horror comic by Joe Hill, author of the terrifying novel Heart-Shaped Box.
Lock and Key #1 starts with a cliched premise. A family in a remote cabin is attacked and victimized by backwoods thugs. But this awful tragedy launches us into a mesmerizing supernatural tale of survivor's guilt and haunted houses. The intricate way Hill and artist Gabriel Rodriguez seamlessly fuse flashbacks into the story is particularly noteworthy, especially in an early sequence set at a funeral. It gorgeously blends the solemn memorial service with a series of poignant flashbacks. The execution of those few haunting pages makes this debut issue well worth the cover price.
And finally, we have The Arrival, a wordless graphic novel with a very surreal take on the immigrant experience.
The Arrival has no text, only luminous images that tell the story of a man who leaves his family for a fantastic alien city to seek his fortune.
Sean Tan's incredible artwork and magical images perfectly convey the confusion of an outsider in a new foreign culture and the plight of immigrants all hoping to escape the persecution of their homeland. It's a brilliant, beautiful, and timeless graphic novel that will appeal to all ages and all languages. I can't think of any better place to do Fresh Ink than right here, surrounded by comics. That's it from WonderCon 2008.
Good time at the con?
It's a great time at the con.
Now, listen, I don't read a lot of comic books, but like, what's something you could recommend to me that I would actually dig? Like somebody's not totally immersed in it.
Okay, there's a comic book that came out today, first issue. It's called Kick-Ass, and it's hilarious and it's really
up my
funny.
alley.
It's basically a comic about a kid who decides he's going to become a superhero, has no powers, lives in our world. There are no superpowers. So what happens when he puts on this costume and starts trying to kick people's asses? Well, what happens is he gets the cookies kicked out of him repeatedly. But it's a great comic, so you would love it, I think.
Kick-Ass came out today.
Kick-Ass,
All
number
right,
one,
perfect.
came out today. Good stuff. Now, the next stop on the con circuit will be Wizard World LA in March, and I will definitely be there to cover that.
Look out for Miss Butler, everybody.
Yes.
Right now, though, it's time to leave the world of paper and ink behind.
Take G4 on the road. Download this show now as a G4 podcast.
Do you want to own a...
Your life force is running out.
If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, board life. If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, board life. If you dig this, then you dug this, cause I'm all about the nerd life, board life, yeah. G4X Play.
You've just come back in time to watch us play with toys. Time for Gadgetron. Woo!
Let us honor the spirit of WonderCon and see if today's watch phone deserves a place on a superhero's wrist.
Oh.
Ever since Dick Tracy first spoke into his watch phone, we've been begging our parents for one. They never deliver, but Turtle Wireless has brought us one step closer to the wearable GSM phone. Sporting a touchscreen display and GPRS internet capabilities, you'll look incredibly important, or incredibly nerdy, talking into your watch. Also included is a stereo Bluetooth headset. But where's the fun in that? Become a gumshoe for $200.
Buy, sell, buy, sell.
First
Sorry, I'm talking with my broker.
Is this really a watch that's a video phone? Is it like the one I remember from the Dick Tracy comic?
It's not exactly that at all. There's actually no camera or picture functionality on this. I mean, you can view photos or video, you just can't take it. There's no camera.
All right.
It is, however, a fully functional phone on your wrist. It actually works. Makes calls, receives them. Blown away. The touchscreen display, I mean, yeah, it's cool, but it's not really that accurate. It's as if the operating system was lifted from another cell phone. I'm not quite sure. It feels like Windows Mobile, but it's not. I don't know exactly what it is, but the icons are all very small, so you're constantly trying to tap with your fingernail and hitting the wrong thing, and you pick at it, and don't even try to scroll or touch it with the pad of your finger, because you're going to mess up. But with that said, you can navigate it, you can make calls, you can dial some numbers, so it's kind of cool.
So it's at least a good phone.
Yes, that's the one thing that it does have going for it. I'm trying to unlock it here for you. It actually does make calls. Let me see. You got to hit 3 buttons to unlock it. But once it's done, the speakerphone is actually really loud. The call quality.
Party music.
Pardon me one second. I'm going to take this one. Hello.
So rude.
Oh, hold on. Let me turn it up here. Here we go. Yes. Yes, you're talking to me. I'm making live television. How are you, random caller to my wrist?
I'm all right, Kevin.
I do know what time it is because I'm talking to you on my wrist phone.
Oh.
So it's also a watch.
Synchronicity.
It's crazy. I don't need you to call in and tell me. I'm hanging up. Goodbye. It doesn't have a cool way of hanging up like another phone.
Yeah, you
like,
have
there's
to
no,
bang
like,
your wrist
I'm done. You just
on
have to
the,
kind of hit it against something. But look, it gets annoying after a little while talking to your watch, but the ladies will flock, let me tell you.
Unless they are watching you from inside and they're like, hey, look at that crazy dude screaming his wrist.
But again, it's full Bluetooth, and it comes with a headset, so you can jam it to your Bluetooth headset, or use some stereo headphones to listen to music. So it does all that as well.
Okay, so we can basically, how much that your typical cell phone can do, can the watch do?
Pretty much everything. Again, I mean, there's no camera. The internet is dog slow. It's GPRS internet, which, if you're familiar with like AT&T's service, you know, the watch takes a SIM card. It can work on AT&T or T-Mobile. It's going to be slow-like, very slow-like. But the audio and video player works very well with a USB connection. You pop in the watch, it sees it as a hard drive. You just drag and drop your media. So that's all very nice. And again, stereo Bluetooth, so you can actually pop on music right to your stereo headset, take calls. It does it all. No expansion, though, so you're stuck with a couple hundred megs built in.
All right. So $200 unlocked, that's not that bad, but isn't having a giant red watch going to get kind of old?
Yeah, the fact that it's giant and red, I have to take off a couple points. Look, $200 comes with a headset for a novelty phone or like a nighttime phone or a clubbing phone, because this is going to get you into Avalon without a line. You know, that you're not on the list, excuse me, sir.
LAX.
Let me call my agent. Oh, I'm on the list now. You know what I mean? That's how it works. So $200, I want it to be thinner, I want it to be black or silver, but other than that, it's a phone on a watch. You gotta like it.
That's worth it. Anyway, thanks, Kevin. That's it for Gadget Prone.
Yes. Now, Blair, I actually have some bad news for you.
What?
It's actually now time for today's epic fail.
Oh, man. I think I can take it, right?
Big words. It actually, it doesn't stop there. Today's epic fail is a nasty tampon story.
Oh, God, hold me.
No.
I don't
Just
want
watch.
I left a tampon in there for a few days. I didn't know. Like days? Well, because I left it in there, right? And then we had sex.
Oh my God.
At the end of my period, we had sex. And then we had sex again the next day. I just forgot, like, he shoved it already from his penis from having sex way in there.
Way in there.
And he's just like, Matt, you don't smell right. And then I went, oh my God, I do not think I ever took out my tampon from like 5 or 6 days ago.
Oh my God.
And he's like, you've got to be kidding me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have they invented Purell for the brain yet? Because I would like to unsee what I just saw. That was quite possibly the grossest thing I've ever...
And you may not have noticed it. I don't know if our viewers did.
Yeah.
Today, this segment has sort of evolved. I mean, it's not just about bad comedy sketches. Now we're actually featuring bad people.
Yeah.
Bad, stupid people whose life will always be this. Whole days. Coming up tomorrow on an all-new AOTS, we're going to review toys of our youth to see if they stand the test of time. Captain Power's light gun is up, and Captain Power himself will be here to defend his honor, and your childhood sucks.
Plus, we've got an exclusive clip from Roland Emmerich's 10,000 BC that you won't see anyplace else.
Now, before we go, let's check in with X-Play to see what they've got coming up next.
Thanks, guys. On today's show, we have updates on EA's $2 billion bid for Take-Two and GTA 4, and we have a cheat to save your ass in Turok.
Plus, we have 3 brand new reviews. Back to you guys.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, guys. Now go to g4tv.com/AOTS for all the things you saw today and much more. I'm so sorry about those tampons. That was horrible.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anybody want me to call here? Just give me an hour.
Oh, yeah, call them Fatty, Ass Hat, and Wiener.